Alas, the beauteous little penny, the copper, although recently significantly less so. That 1 cent, uno centavo, and now the last one has been minted. Hello, Sharpies. Joy is running a little bit late. She will be joining us later, but for right now, I am solo, and so I will be bringing the show to you just momentarily, briefly. My condolences. Thank you. So let's get started with just a couple of little pieces of housekeeping. We know, for instance, that once again, Anthony was the first person in, but the second person in was Mike Bartlett, my Rattler brother. Thank you, Mike, for coming in. Again, if you intend on being the first person to leave a comment, especially on YouTube, you absolutely need to make sure that you are subscribed, have that notification bell ringing. So as soon as it hits, because I'm telling you, on Thursday, I don't know what Anthony's day looks like, but clearly he has the time. He always has the time. So he's going to be sitting there. If you want to be on top of it, you got to be really like on top of it, But that's great. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. And I just want to know from you all, you can drop in the chat, how you're feeling about the news of the discharge letter finally being signed. It has to ripen. There are all these procedures, all of this stuff going on. There was a little back and forth between what the House approved as the continuing resolution, the supposed clean continuing resolution, which ended up actually including a special handout to 8 senators for a specious case, which isn't going to have any legs, but would award them up to $1 million to recompense them for their supposed emotional damage of having their phone records, not taps, just records of their phones and who they were talking to in the run-up to Jan 6 and on Jan 6. Apparently, they think that's worth $1 million of taxpayer money times 8 when you're already getting a salary, and your salary was one of the few federal salaries that was not cut during that shutdown. There have been at various times attempts to stall legislator salaries during shutdowns, which makes sense to me. If you're not getting paid, you're feeling the pain and you're feeling the pressure of the everyday citizens who work in federal government, the air traffic controllers, the TSA folks who do not have any other option other than to work. And so you definitely have an opportunity to feel that pain. And that said, there's no pain from being joined by my co-host, Joy Reid, and she is here with us. Hey, Joy.
Hello, how are you?
I am well, and shout out to this haircut. I don't know if y'all follow Joy on social media, but Joy did this thing where she had gotten her hair did last week, and I'm digging this. I'm digging the silver in the front. I'm digging the new round shape. All of it. Your shape is shaping. You are
Thank you.
giving, as the young folks say. And
So,
so I was just bringing
Anthony.
folks up to speed, trying to run out the clock until you got here. So basically, we were just talking about the government shutdown. And so what happened is, Mike Johnson was up at his podium every single day talking about how the Democrats were holding up stuff in the Senate. And the Democrats, an additional 5, jumped and broke the filibuster blockade that the Senate Democrats have been holding fast to for 40 days. And they signed on. But apparently, they didn't see this little slip of legislation that was added to the Senate version of the bill, which means once the sign off occurred, the Senate was not actually signing off on the House version of the bill. So it had to go back to the House. And so then it turned into a day-ish of going back and forth because the House was like, well, wait a minute now. This was supposed to be a clean CR. Mike Johnson has been making his little 5-minute press conferences every day for a month and a half, talking about clean CR. All they got to do is sign the clean CR, clean CR, clean CR. And here the Senate Republicans are playing reindeer games. And so it did get done. Trump did sign it. As a side consequence, Representative Grijalva of Arizona was formally read in to her post as a representative for the great state of Arizona, and immediately she signed the discharge petition, and immediately the discharge petition went for consideration, and now it has to ripen for 7 days, at which point it will be set up for a vote in the House. The word on the street is that as many as 60 House Republicans, now that the discharge petition has come forth, and it's not a matter of getting it to the floor, it's a matter of voting on it, as many as 60 House Republicans will be supporting the release of the Upsteen Files, which isn't really a surprise, because now that it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen, and it still has to pass the Senate hurdle, you might as well support your constituents who've been calling at you and yelling at you, and do the right thing. Joy?
I was just going to say that everything that you just said, but also I'm a little concerned because I don't trust nobody, and they already tried to sneak in the little, oh, by the way, pay us $500,000 a pop for basically just saying that we suck, even though we do. But the way they just like, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and confirm this woman and blah, blah, blah. And we're just making the vote is back open again. There's something we're missing. And I don't think it was a $500,000 thing. I feel like they waited until they got the last redaction of the files. And I think they redacted enough of this part won't come out so that when they do finally release this, we're going to get 11,000 pages, of which 7 are readable. And they're going to say, oh, here you go. It's one of them things where, have you ever seen, there's an old video of like Tom and Jerry, and hang with me for a second. There's the old video of Tom and Jerry, and Tom has a friend who slices off a little piece of ham and gives it to Tom, and then grabs the whole ham bone and starts eating it. And he Heisman's everybody else while he's doing it. I feel like that's what's happening right now. Like, they're like, oh, sure, yes, we completely understand, and we're going to work with the Democrats. Meanwhile, they're drinking our milkshake. If you remember.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There will be blood.
Yes. Dude was like, oh, no, negotiate with you. He's like, no, I drank your milkshake a long time. I drink it up.
So
we're missing
here's the thing, and CJ is joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about that. I still contend, and this is something that we've talked about, I still contend that there is an unredacted, completely whole version of these files that somebody has. And if shenanigans come out, because if you shenan once, you're going to shenan again. And if shenanigans happen, I feel very comfortable and confident that Jack Smith or somebody's cousin is like, since they were released, here's the real deal. Because what we know is that redacting or examining for his name is one thing. But in all the terabytes of files that we have, it's one thing to redact, right? It's a whole nother thing to actually delete the pages and then have to renumber all the pages and then have to fill in the blanks. And then
it's taken them a long time to do that.
It would, but I don't think that's a lot. And I kind of feel like even they could not do that. But I guess we'll see. And this is, again, this could all be moot, because if they don't I don't know if this is going to be a vote that would require a filibuster, because every vote does not. I don't know if it has to clear cloture, but I kind of feel like the pressure is on Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Britt, Joni Ernst. If you are a woman who is a senator, and you are not backing the release of these things, and you are up for re-election this cycle, you're in danger.
So go ahead. Susan.
I don't think they're in danger. They should be. With a constituency that exercises common sense, they should be in danger. the sad part is we're learning common sense ain't that common, as my granddaddy used to say. And it's in there. So folks are not going to see this as a problem. And yes, I do think that DOJ is doing something to those files, because we keep focusing on Trump, which we know he's guilty. But you have to remember, who was Attorney General in Florida when all of this was going down? That was Pam.
Oh, sure.
That was Pam. So she's in there too. She's in there too. And Pam stands to lose as well. And so you have a lot of players who stand to lose if this comes out. It needs to come out. Yes. And that's not the only thing. It needs to come out because we need something to stop this forward movement that the Republicans are making. Because like you said, I was pissed when they folded. I'm like, you all had the power. The Democrats had the power, and you gave it away for fake. I saw a GIF a little while ago, and it was Charlie Brown and Lucy. And it's like, hey, if you open the government, I'm going to have a serious vote about the ACA. And she's holding that football. And we already know that they have already changed their mind, because they were like, the only way we're going to talk about the ACA is you make abortion more restrictive. You gave up too much, and it really pissed me off.
I absolutely agree. Just before we get into the butts or whatever, just as an aside note, I want to let you all know Susan Collins is up for re-election this cycle. Joni, although I don't think Joni Ernst is going to run again, I think she's decided she's going to step down. Cindy Hyde-Smith from Mississippi, Cynthia Loomis from Wyoming, Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia. I think that's all of the female senators on the GOP side, if we don't include Lindsey Graham, who are up for re-election in this coming cycle.
So I posted this the other day on Facebook and Threads, and this is around why we shouldn't be surprised at this. So people who don't know history are doing to repeat it, and some people who do know history liked it and want to repeat it. And so the 8 Senate Democrats, or the Democrats in general, just folding like a card table. This is what they do. And this is what Martin Luther King was talking about when he said our moderate or liberal friends are sometimes worse than anything else, because they'll have you believing that you walk in together and then they'll just stop walking because they got tired. This is the same thing that happened in the Compromise of 1877. We're talking over 130 years ago, right? We ostensibly got freed, mostly in 1865. A little bit of Reconstruction. Things were going well. There was real progress. We had agency. We had land. We had the vote. We had Black officers of the courts and Black judges and senators, all kind of stuff. We were doing our part to make America great. Period. Right. And the Southerners were like, we don't like this. Right. Was it Rutherford B. Hayes? I think gets elected in 1876. Doesn't win the popular vote. He's a liberal Republican at the time. That was the Liberal Party. And to keep the peace, because the South was like, we're going to revolt again if you put this man in, because he didn't get the popular vote. He's not my president, blah, blah, blah. They were ready to run. Anybody else would have said run, because you saw how you got your tail whooped before. We'll whoop your tail again. There's even less of y'all. But instead, they compromised. It's called the Compromise of 1877. And they compromised with allowing all of them Confederates to get some of their land back, reparations. They could go on to work whatever jobs. They forced them to put at least one former Confederate in the cabinet. And he became Postmaster General, right? Controlling the flow of information. There's that part. Still being railroad magnates, still being deans of colleges, all kind of stuff. And they took all of the soldiers out of the South, and those soldiers were the only thing protecting Black people from getting lynched on a daily basis. And then guess what happened when they left? Before and after the compromise, you got 50,000 registered Black voters in Louisiana. After, 8,000. And then all it takes is a couple of generations for the truth to be misremembered. And now, Black people don't vote. Well, you murdered everybody that tried to vote. And now you blame us for not voting, when it is generational trauma for Black people to be like, don't go up there. and then it turned into apathy, blah, blah, blah. We resurged in the 1960s. We're back again. And then you have the Pettit Street Bridge and everybody's like, oh my God. And then not even 3 years later, we marched. I don't know what else these Black people want. And so here we are again. And I'm not talking about your average, Joe Schmo on the street. I'm talking about our government saying they want justice, saying that this is an outrage. Same thing they did before. The same impotence they showed when Andrew Jackson created the Trail of Tears. They were like, oh, this is terrible. I'm going to go home and be really mad about this. And that's all they do. And this they've done it again.
Go home and be mad.
I'm going to go home and be mad.
Instead of any substantive action. And that is the problem.
That is the problem. So I vote Democrat because it's less harm, but they're still harmful. Right. And I completely understand the people that say things like they're bad on both sides. Yeah, they are. One side wants actively to kill me. The other side doesn't care if I die. So I'm going with the don't care if I die because I got a little bit of a chance to take matters into my own hands and make myself, safe. That's my options. Absolutely, right, or possibly not. So when they say we need to change the Democratic Party, absolutely, because they are trash, and this was a trash move. And why was it done? Money, power, maintaining, all those things. And notice that nobody that voted was up for re-election. They just went out like that. They don't care. And this won't be remembered. It'll be remembered as the Democrats did some nonsense, but not necessarily who, because they're not going to be on the ballot next time.
Right.
To bring this back up.
Now, one thing I will say is that John Fetterman suffered another fall today. So I don't know if it was TIA related, but maybe it knocked some sense back into him because the sense got knocked out of him when he had.
I need him to just flip. Flip.
He needs to come back. Somebody needs to tap the spoon on the teacup and just like get him back to where he was when people liked him, because this is kind of crazy in the way that he has switched up as much as he has switched up to the detriment of everything that we thought we were getting when we got Fetterman in office. So we'll see what happens. Mitch McConnell is not running again. Lindsey probably is going to be facing some tough times. And I do have to say, as much as it grieves me to say this, shout out to Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace. We knew Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't going to move, but Nancy Mace put herself into a really bad situation with that whole airport fiasco. And so the pressure was on her. They literally took Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room to try to haze her, to take her name off of the discharge petition. And she did not. So for whatever credit is due, Beetlejuice girl, and crazy Nancy Mace, not going to be governor of South Carolina. God bless you for sticking to your guns and at least allowing things to have proceeded in the way that they do. Now, a couple of people in the chat are saying, Bob Breeden has said Trump definitely is going to veto it. Absolutely, that is certainly a foregone conclusion. And Phil says that it does require the 60 vote threshold, and POTUS is going to throw a veto. Here's my gut reaction. My feeling is that if it advances out of the Senate, the senators who vote for it know he's going to veto it, which tells me that they probably will have enough to overcome the veto. Nobody's afraid that he may or may not veto it. They know that he's going to veto it. So you're either voting and saying, go ahead and veto it if you want. But we had 70 votes in the Senate. And we had, 80% of the votes in the House. So you can go on ahead if you want, but
Right. For those of y'all that can't read, if you're watching on the phone, Bob says the White House is freaking out due to rumors that Boebert and Mace recorded their phone calls from Trump, begging them to remove their names from the discharge petition. If this is another, we need 11,000 votes. I totally see that happening,
Absolutely. And took her in the Situation Room, which is crazy because that's like a skiff. The Situation Room is a skip, y'all. That is where Obama was when he killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And you just trying to get somebody to take their name off a piece of paper and you pulling them into the Situation Room. Listen, y'all, regardless of what happens with the DOJ files, what we have seen is that the Epstein family and the estate of the Epsteins has stuff, and they are not fans of Trump.
Not at all. Matter of fact,
these emails, baby. Go ahead, Joy.
I got two things. Knowing that Epstein and Trump were not on good terms when he, offed himself, whatever the Upsteen Files. I love it.
He didn't kill himself, and y'all know that.
We all know he didn't kill himself. No, but knowing that and knowing who you're dealing with, because remember, they've done a whole lot of dirt together. He's got an in case of emergency file somewhere, right? And he said, if something happens to me, hold on this. And I don't know why it wasn't released already, but maybe they've got other reasons, but it's out there. It's out there, and it is going to come out hopefully at the most wonderful time. Now, that being said, they're already putting together the narrative that, well, so what? I've seen two things today on two different social media outlets. And one of them, I want to say, was Fox News, trying to make it like they're not pedophiles. They just like young, skinny girls.
Okay,
so what was it? They weren't 8. They were over 15.
They were 15. They're 15
I don't give a damn. Right. They were under the age of consent. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't have done that. You were a creepy old granddaddy man. I'm sorry, Tom.
So not to mention, I also saw another one that was is the young white guy that owns all of the stupid MAGA people that call into his show. And this guy said, "Tell me why raping a child." He said, "Tell me why that's wrong." And he goes, "You want me to explain to you why raping a child is wrong?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, explain to me in your own words why you think that's wrong." He's like, "You understand what you're asking me to?" I can't believe this is actually. He was flabbergasted. I can't believe you're actually defending the rape of a minor and you're asking me why that's wrong. I don't even know how to respond to this.
Yeah, that's something I'm not going to do. But more egregious than that dude who has a podcast. Thank you, Megyn Kelly, Bob. I was about to go there, and I'm going to let you ladies have it because the things that I want to say about Megyn Kelly would sound particularly egregious coming from me. But let me just say, she sat there, a woman who had to confront Trump, who said she was bleeding from her eyes and other places in her body, the mother of a 14-year-old girl. And I don't even know why she didn't just say ephebophile. We learned ephebophile from R. Kelly.
Right.
It's not better.
And he's in jail.
He's in jail. It's not better. It's still below the age of consent. These girls, minor children did not have the agency to even provide consent in a legal or moral or just common sense way. They did not consent to any of this. And the very fact that you're trying to split hairs between, well, was it 15? Were they 14 but looked 16? Were they 12 but looked 18? All of that kind of fooly-wang, that is the problem, Megyn Kelly, why you are on a podcast now and you have lost 2 of your network gigs. You were on Fox and then you were on MSNBC, and now you are, trying to make a name for yourself again on podcasts by defending the indefensible. I don't even know why this is a question. It makes my blood boil, but I'm gonna let you all have it.
But I got a quick question before you jump in. I just have a quick question. And maybe I'm confusing people, but if I'm not mistaken, wasn't one of the reasons Megyn Kelly left Fox was because she was being harassed?
By Roger Ailes. Absolutely.
So you're a victim of sexual harassment, justifying sexual assault again. Wait a minute, you're an adult victim of sexual harassment, justifying sexual assault against children. Make it make sense, but that goes back to what I said. Why we're not dealing with people who use common sense.
They had a whole movie about it. Charlize Theron played Megyn Kelly in
I didn't watch it because it was Fox. But I mean, come on.
So I'm gonna take y'all on a journey. Give me about 2 minutes to get through this. I'll be on the internet late at night. I'm watching YouTube and I see this thing like it says, cartoon wise, the real story of Snow White. And I was like, oh, whatever, Snow White. Let's check this out. And let me tell you the whole real story of Snow White. It is a Proto-German fairy tale. Of course, the Brothers Grimm did their thing, and they wrote all these notes. Now, the Disney version and the Brothers Grimm version are as different, literally, as night and day, because the Brothers Grimm got their story from the source, from these older women in these old towns, and everybody of the time would have understood what they were hearing. So, first of all, Snow White, the evil queen or what have you, that gave her the poison apple and all that stuff, it was not a stepmother. It was her mother. And it was the fact that also Snow White was not some budding 18, 19-year-old girl. She was 7. And it was very normal at the time because women's status in society, their power, if you will, because again, they couldn't own anything. And so they wielded power by their beauty, their ability to arrange marriages and be, powerful in that way. They had a habit, if their daughters were too pretty, of killing them. Because what you're not going to do is outshine me. Right? Understand what I'm saying? So you got the mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of all? Oh, my daughter. Oh, I think not. And sent the huntsman out. Now, this part is also true. To kill the girl and take her lungs and liver. And then she ate it because she was trying to absorb her vitality, her youth. She was trying to get all that back. It was like a medieval version of stem cells, I guess. I don't know what she was thinking was going to happen, but all of this was intentional. And this was not a one-time thing. This wasn't just one woman. This was women. This was women in early, 1600s, 1700s Germany that would just be like, you too cute. You got to die. And the moral of the story is I'm forgetting one part. Remember Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. The 7 dwarfs were actually children because they used to put kids in the mines and whatnot, stunt their growth, and they would just be short. But they were, again, 8, 9, child labor, 8, 9, 10 years old. So you got a ostensibly 8-year-old girl trying to keep house and cook breakfast and whatever for some 7-year-old boys, right? Then, remember, she got poisoned and looked dead in the coffin. The glass coffin is a real thing. Right. And so her being presented in the glass coffin, along comes Prince Charming, who falls in love with her. Bro, you ain't never talked to her. You don't know if her breath stink or what. Right. Which it does because it's medieval Germany. But still, he takes the corpse. And it only is just luck that the corpse gets jostled and she wakes up because she was given belladonna, but not enough of a dose. So he was going to do things to this body, and they let him have it. And so all of this comes around to pedo from day one. Here, there's the body of a 8-year-old, 9-year-old girl. Let me have that. I got this. Then the child labor, we're headed back that way. Then the mother murdering her own child to maintain her status. And if you don't make the connection to the 54%, I don't know what to tell you. But we once again are where we've been.
So, we've seen it in movies, but it's a true thing where young girls are molested by their fathers or their stepfathers, and their mothers don't believe them
or get mad at them.
Mad at them, saying, you're trying to take my man.
Yes.
You're trying to take my husband. And really, that's what it is. It is, people are not believing these young women because in their minds, Trump and Epstein were the ideal man. If you remember, folks thought Trump was all of that. We know he's not, but folks thought Trump was all of that. So these young women, they're jealous of what these young women had and what they think they had, because these women were abused. They did not have these young girls. Sorry, girls were trafficked and abused. They were not women who made conscious decisions to be with all that men. But the women who have power and agency to help them are jealous of what they think they had, and that's why they won't do anything about it.
Yes to all of that. And also remember the entertainment industry, the modeling industry, anything that trades in looks has always traded in flesh There's a reason they called it the casting couch, right?
Mhm.
There's a reason they call certain girls a Lolita type. Remember, Lolita was like 12.
You're right. You're
right?
right.
And they're trying to lower the age of consent to 14, right? And the desire to have complete control over a helpless girl's body is part of what they're trying to hide by not. And eventually, if they lower the age of consent to 14 and it becomes a federal thing instead of just certain southern states, then that means that it's not necessarily a crime what you see, because she was 15, right? It wasn't really bad. It was just, I'm before my time. What the hell? What the actual hell? And yes, I would say this sounds like a European problem. Those Euros and spread their sickness globally, but you got child brides in Africa too. It's a thing.
Oh yeah,
it's a thing.
And in Asia, and in
Asia. And so I'm disgusted by Megyn Kelly in particular, because there before the grace of God goes your daughter. And so once again, you're willing to make it okay for someone to prey on people like your daughter to save your own position.
Right.
And we see you for what you are, which is a trafficker.
Yeah, I want to shout out the Sharpies who always stay on top of breaking news while we are in the midst of a show, because we had a Sharpie who shared some news just when you thought there weren't enough pedophiles in GOP news. We've got an update about everybody's favorite Florida pedophile, Matt Gaetz.
Oh, Jesus.
So this time it was a 17-year-old homeless parent. She's 17-year-old. She's got a child. She needs money for braces. And she ended up having sex for money with powerful men. And because Matt Gaetz is the person who is on the headline photo, obviously Matt Gaetz is involved. It only gets more disgusting. And let's be clear. Before there was Pam Bondi, there was Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. But Matt Gaetz was too toxic. Before Matt Gaetz, Eileen Cannon was in line to be AG. But he made a determination, if she's not the judge anymore, she can't provide cover on the documents case. And so I need her to stay where she is. And once again, just like a bad penny, she is turned up. And yet another AG who has been assigned in West Palm or Miami, he's now bringing 30 new indictments, up to and including former President Barack Obama. I don't know, with the whole immunity judgment, thank you, Supreme Court, about POTUS's doing things in office. I don't understand how you can even pretend that you're going to try to indict Obama. But the very fact that you're throwing 30 things and it's all based on this collusion for an election that he won in 2016. How much less damage can you get beyond ascending to the highest office in the world? So whatever you thought happened, which didn't actually happen, but whatever you thought happened, you were elected president. You could have done this, just like they're saying, how come the Dems didn't release the Upsteen Files when Biden was in office? First of all, I know you Sharpies know this. Ghislaine Maxwell was in the process of appealing. She was running the clock on her appeals. You couldn't release the Upsteen Files while she was appealing. It took until 2025, when SCOTUS finally swatted her down for what we hope will be the last time, that this whole process could even be done, because it would have been highly prejudicial had the Upsteen Files been released in tranches, or just, so that's why Mike Johnson, stop pretending like you don't know this. Pam Bondi, stop pretending like you don't know this. You all are lawmakers and lawyers, and you know it was impossible to release the files. And the Democrats, side note, the Democrats weren't running on this. The Democrats weren't chasing Epstein. No. That was y'all. Y'all wanted to do that because of QAnon and Pizzagate and everything else. The Democrats were the ones who were the pedophiles. We were the ones that were doing all this nefarious stuff. Oops. And now, I don't want to dance away, because we talked about the Epstein estate. This is what the Epstein estate gave us. It gave us emails some from 2011 when Trump wasn't even running, some from 2018 after he was in office, some from 2016 right before he was elected. This is Jeffrey Epstein talking to his conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, and he says some things to Ghislaine that she acknowledges, which shines the spotlight on her lies to Todd Blanche in the interviews that got her into Club Fit. And guess what? Baby cakes, if the Epstein files come out, there's not a lie you can tell that is going to get Trump to pardon you.
Now, this is a good point. Governors can take you can't pardon state level charges. So
correct. Absolutely. And he did issue, while we were in shutdown, he did issue a bunch of pardons to basically every lawyer who worked on his election fraud campaign.
But he doesn't know who he pardoned. Remember?
Well, there's that too. But the ones that he does know, those were kind of pardons without a purpose, because the charges are Arizona charges. The charges are Georgia charges. The charges are not federal charges. So, Chesborough and Kraken lady, Sidney Powell, and the one who was kind of at least recalcitrant, the blonde chick, all of these people, Rudy Giuliani, those pardons mean nothing. It's great. I guess maybe they won't be charged federally, but at this point, Giuliani's on his last legs anyway. And so basically what we have is Trump signaling to people, if you get federally charged and you're defending me, I'm going to pardon you. That was the signal. And he chose big, high-profile names because he knew it was going to be news. Oh, well, yeah, I don't disagree with that, Phil. In for a penny, in for a pound, because we know what happened to Epstein. Right. And I called it the Trumpstein Files because at this point, that's the only thing that matters. It's Trump and Epstein, so it might as well be Trumpstein.
This is interesting. It's like Mike Johnson let slip about the whole FBI informant when he says that dog didn't bark. It could have been that, about Trump talking to the FBI,
But he's already backed off of that because he knew it was bullshit. It's very difficult to piece together something that is as tangled as this. 4 terabytes, maybe videos, maybe pictures, tons of emails, all these different files, the 4,200 suspicious activity reports, which implies money laundering, the family of the Mellon heir who gave $130 million illegally to support troop pay because his dad was mentioned in the Upsteen Files. There's all this stuff that is floating around. And what came out last week before the shutdown was kind of terminated this week was that it's so much worse than anybody thought for Trump. That's what came out. That was the rumor that came out. So here we are in a situation where we've got what we all know to be some pretty horrible stuff. You've got now the first accuser that I'm aware of who has mentioned Trump's name. Trump did this to me. And that's a first. And then there was an email that Epstein sent to Ghislaine Maxwell saying Trump spent hours and the victim's name was redacted. Interestingly enough, Caroline, the press secretary, Levitt, said that name that was redacted was Virginia Giuffre. But the House representative who said they got the emails from the Epstein estate said the name was already redacted. We don't know that it's Virginia Giuffre. It's interesting that Caroline Levitt said that it was Virginia Giuffre because Virginia Giuffre is on the record as saying that Donald Trump did not do anything to her. Now, whether or not that was coerced or whether or not she was just protecting herself or whatever, it's difficult to say. But what the House Dems are saying is that she said that. She pulled that out of herself. We don't know that that's true. It could be that she's just trying to obfuscate to make it seem like the legitimacy of the emails are less than correct. But again, these are emails that existed well before Trump was a political figure of any stripe. This is just when they were in the midst of their friendship. And there are emails from 2018 implying that Trump celebrated Thanksgiving while he was president with Jeffrey Epstein.
That's what Mike's saying right here. Yeah.
So it's like, That's not great. And look, it's not going to be difficult. Trump barely spent any time at the White House in his first term either. He was always down in Florida. So the idea of him going to celebrate Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago after he pardoned the turkey, that's not too far a stretch, and also very easily to Google.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, we spent 40 minutes on basically the first topic, but I do want to, it's clearly the biggest thing. We know the pennies. Okay, pennies are gone. Got it. But there are a couple of other things to talk about. I'm just going to jam through a couple of pictures that we've uploaded just because we've uploaded them, and I think it's worth seeing, because they're the next thing I want to talk to is related to the fallout of the Upsteen Files, which is MAGA is straight up losing their ish. I mean, tearing their hair out. Here is Evan Kilgore on X, and thankfully this was reposted to Threads because I don't have X, but this is his laundry list of challenges. 50-year mortgages. Y'all.
Who needs a 50-year mortgage?
I'm saying you understand that $100,000
a month
costs you $500,000 in a 50-year mortgage.
300 to save three, that makes it more affordable. Chaining yourself to a mortgage you can't even leave because you won't have any equity and you're gonna die before the house is even paid for. You have nothing to pass on to your heirs. Are you kidding me? That was part one. 600,000 Chinese students. He wants 600,000 Chinese students admitted to our finest universities because they're the talented ones.
Right, because Americans don't know how to do anything.
Americans are dumb. Antifa riots. There are none. Bombing Iran. Sure, that happened. No indication that they actually hobbled their nuclear capability. They said they obliterated their nuclear capability.
No, they didn't.
You know what we haven't heard since a week after it was obliterated? Iran crying. Iran is chilling. Iran is centrifuging. Iran is plutoniuming. They're refining. Iran is cool. The bunker buster did not bust. The Upsteen Files. Well, at least those are coming. Anti-Semitism crackdowns. I mean, I don't know. It's a MAGA post, so it's 50-50. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm definitely anti-Israeli government. So I don't know which way it's supposed to go.
This is a good point. He also says some nonsense about HBCUs would collapse without Chinese students. You do understand that the C does not mean Chinese, right? Like, we're mostly Black. And we've been around for over 150 years for some. So what makes you think that losing the 3 transfer students would matter to an HBCU? However, you look at some of the Ivy League schools, what was it? What did I see? What was it, a couple of years ago? And it said, congratulations, we finally beat China in a math tournament and the American team was all Chinese.
Oh my damn.
Well, wait, listen. Having non-Black students at HBCUs is rare enough that a white quarterback is headline news across the HBCU verse.
Right.
Having a white drum major is headline news across the HBCU verse. I ain't even seen an Asian kicker. I haven't seen an Asian safety. Not a flautist, not a damn oboe player, nothing.
Not a flag court.
Nothing. And listen, I know there are Asian students, there are Asian professors at HBCUs, but listen, them two, that isn't going to be the thing. Not with Mackenzie Scott's dollars rolling in. They're good. We don't need any of that. This is just the first list, by the way. ISIS in the White House. Now, y'all, Trump on Veterans Day had a former head of Al-Qaeda who is now the head of state of a Middle Eastern country in the White House. Literally an Al-Qaeda terrorist. And I don't know if he was from Qatar. Somebody tell me, Mike. Yeah, I understand. I didn't say anti-Zionist, though. I caught myself. I said anti-Israeli government, which may make me an anti-Zionist. I don't know. I don't really care. But by the way, before you come for me, I'm 1/16 Ashkenazi Jew. So, so
My
I
boyfriend
just,
is black.
huh?
My boyfriend is black. So I can say
I
all
mean,
that.
I'm just saying it's not a happy story as to why I'm 1/16, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it's true. He had this former terrorist leader, now head of state. I think it's maybe the president of Syria now. I'm not sure which of the Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah,
Mike
Syria.
Bartlett, please correct me. It is Syria. Okay, thank you, Bob. In the White House, kicking it. Former Al Qaeda, former head of ISIS, and then of course inflation. Listen, again, CJ, tell us how much your grocery bill is these days compared to how it was a year ago.
Listen here.
I know mine's higher.
Look, I'm single. I don't do a whole lot of grocery shopping, but what I do know is that my takeout bill is higher because guess what? Groceries or the supplies that they need, the food supplies that my takeout restaurants that I love are higher. And I mean, yes, groceries are higher. I mean, I got some stuff the other day to deliver for an outreach we're doing with the sorority. It's higher. I knew my bill was going to be higher because I thought the prices of groceries were supposed to go down in January. They should have been down by my birthday, according to the POTUS, because my birthday's in January, at the end of January. Joy knows that. My grocery prices should have been down.
Yeah, my son's birthday.
No, I'm about to reach yet my next birthday since that terror has been in office, and the prices are going up even more.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, CJ, because according to Caroline Levitt, prices are steadying and wages are climbing. A new DoorDash report shows.
DoorDash, really?
Except that the community weighs in and says this is misleading. The report actually shows rising food prices. Average price of a cheeseburger, soda, and fries increased almost 4% year over year in September, while typical restaurant meals rose 3.2%. And that echoes the latest USDA food cost data of a 2.9% increase overall, 2.7% at home, and 3.9% in restaurants. So even if you're not buying milk, if you're not buying cartons of eggs, if you're not buying lunch meat to make sandwiches for your kids or pasta or whatever, by the way, Italian pasta may be not coming to the United States anymore because of the tariffs.
Yep. Damn, Therese. God.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And yet this man who is so addled that he needed to put a fake gold, the Oval Office sign next to the door leading to the Oval Office so he knows that's the door to go into.
Well, that's what you do for people who have Alzheimer's.
This is what I'm saying. He's putting signs up, and he put the big Hall of Presidents, which I'm kind of surprised Obama is in there, or Biden. But this big gaudy Hall of Presidents with these Etsy signs and cricket cutout names.
Straight from Michael's, right?
I mean, straight from Michael's.
Donald,
he does not. He must not know.
Donald, we will put this sign like this. I have cricket, and I get the son to help with cricket, and this is the new design. It goes with my stick tree.
You a mess.
I can't wait to wish exactly. I can't wait to see what Melania does or doesn't do to the White House decorations for Christmas this year.
It's gonna be so Tim Burton-esque, right?
Yeah, it was that first Christmas she did, which was the Handmaid's Tale trees and the dark crystal chic. Like, I just didn't really understand. This is Christmas to me.
Not the auto pen.
Not the auto pen. Yes. Mike, you are on a roll today. Mike is battling Chan.
Yes.
For the most arch post today.
Mike started before the broadcast started because I came in to see I came on early to see how early Anthony was, and I saw Mike.
Yeah. Well, and again, if you don't, here's the thing. Depending on when you come in, if you leave, you only see the comments that have come in since you left. So I was online after Joy set up the show today. Right after Joy set up the show, Anthony made his first post.
Anthony's
And
got
then,
a
I don't know.
thing
Listen, here's my latest. Tell me if you think I'm absolutely crazy. The East Wing has been destroyed, right?
And it won't be done on time because they're not paying people.
I don't know if I would be surprised if there wasn't some sort of pause or injunction or something that, wait, what?
I hate it here.
No, are you kidding?
No, they're not.
He literally put up a pic. Wait, now I gotta look at the
I gotta look. Yeah, okay, look it up, Tom, because
oh my gosh.
I want to see that. But no, here's the thing, and I'm about to be really ugly, and y'all can kick me off this. My screen. Y'all can kick me off after I say this, and then I'll come back and let's talk. Really, yes, it won't be done on time. The ballroom won't be done on time because guess what? You don't have any Hispanic workers to do the work because you kicked them all out of the country. Yep, you can put me out. So, but seriously, I thought there was a group or someone was filing for an injunction because the White House is a historic landmark, and he made he changed the facade without going through the proper channels. I thought that was supposed to be happening, but
yeah.
Okay.
I'm yeah. So I thought wrong. Okay. Thanks, Joy. I love the way you said that.
I'm still looking for the White House Hall of Presidents. But what I will tell you is that I did, because I was looking up Hall of Presidents, what I did find was
Mary
a picture of the animatronic of Donald Trump at the Disneyland, because they have animatronics. Nightmare fuel. Hold on to your bile. This is the animatronic for Trump.
Oh.
He looks like he looked in the Ark from Raiders of the Lost Ark at the end when they started to melt. That's straight out of Five Nights at Freddy's, bro. Like, what is happening?
So I don't know how to do this, but apparently they are right. He did post a picture of the auto pen. Hold on. Let me figure out how to send this to y'all, because that is
here
crazy.
it is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's real. Oh my.
These people are mad.
It looks like they thought Hillary was going to win and it turned into Trump. That's actually viable.
That is so disgusting and petty and childish and ridiculous.
So, oh my goodness.
And these aren't even like Michael's frames.
No. Let me see if I can add this so y'all can see.
No, I'm adding it.
Oh, you adding it? Okay.
This is crazy.
I hope they've changed that. I really hope, because that is ridiculous. That's absolutely
no. He's probably kept it up there. Crazy as hell.
And they look, again, it just looks cheap. It's not like anti-glare glass.
Target frames. Yeah.
They aren't the presidential portraits. And it's like, does he just think double frames are better because you got double the gold? It's like, it's just overwrought. It's Rococo. And I didn't even think this portrait that he's using from 2016, that is a portrait. Oh, I guess that wasn't his official presidential portrait, obviously, because that's his mugshot. So the fact that he's using his mugshot in the Hall of Presidents is crazy in and of itself.
No, I thought that was his official portrait. No,
not the one for 70. I'm talking about the 45, not the 47. The 45.
Oh, okay.
Because that 45 picture is definitely his. It's definitely his mugshot. The scowl.
Mhm.
That is absolute insanity.
I hate him so much.
So I'm gonna let you all know that I do have a bit of a heart out because I have a memorial service to attend. That's why
Mhm.
I'm in jacket and tie today. But there are a couple of things that I'd like to run through. There are still 3 full slides of MAGA complaints if you want to hit that after I leave. But I did want to shout out the swearing in of Representative Adelita Grijalva,
Took long
which
enough.
was super important. She is in. And there were some pictures where she actually posed with the Speaker of the House, but I preferred to have them separated because he's a tool. And then...
And she brought some, was it survivors, Epstein accusers with her to her swearing.
Oh, yes.
He sure did.
She sure did. And name dropped them.
Yes.
And they got an ovation.
Yes.
One thing that I wanted to share, because Joy, I do have those screenshots of the F around and find out Clarksville guy. So if you want to pull up that video, you can pull up that video after I dip out. But the one thing I did want to share under a headline that I called What a Real POTUS Looks Like is President Obama, who was the first president. Now, they haven't been doing these honor flights forever. They've been doing them for a couple of decades. And he is the first president to actually meet and recognize the folks who served as they were coming to DC. And I did want to play this video because one of the things that was really incredible about it is that just listen to what happens when the guests on the plane hear Obama's voice. It is absolutely inspiring, and it made me choke up a little bit.
This honor flight is to honor all the veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. It's all free for them. We show them all their monuments and explain what their monuments are about. We just try to treat them with dignity that some of them didn't get when they came home from the war.
Hello, everybody.
What?
As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service. To you, your family, the sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing to have.
Keep
Last
that.
time I got to see a president, it was Gerald Ford.
How about that?
It was a joy in my heart today to see all these people. It's good. We still got people in our country.
I love
He
that.
gave them a presidential challenge coin. That was the big coin. Every single person on that flight. And it was the almost the Little John what? when he first said that, and then they shot to the gentleman who had to be in his 80s, and he was just like, oh my gosh. And the smile. This is a man who is so genuine. And I also found out as I was doing additional research when I found the full video, because I had just seen like a little Instagram thing and I wanted to get the full frame. He was also the first president who greeted the remains of fallen soldiers at Dover.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people who was, one of the service persons who was commenting on it said he stood there for 45 minutes with a crisp salute as every fallen soldier came off that plane. And just the contrast between Trump saying, we won World War I, we're going to start celebrating Victory Day. We won World War II. Screw the million Russian soldiers, screw the 300,000 French civilians and the French soldiers and the English soldiers and everybody who was actually on, like, yes,
And
Pearl Harbor.
speaking of, don't forget that the Heritage Foundation asked, and he complied, to take down a memorial in the Netherlands that honored Black soldiers, a million of them, millions of soldiers, including some Black soldiers that gave their lives during the World Wars. And so That's another country saying, you know what? These people were good. And they're like, no, take that down. Because you're talking about black folks. We don't want them to have nothing. We're getting rid of pennies. We're getting rid of everything brown.
Everything brown.
Everything brown.
It's absolutely disgusting. And to see Obama out on the campaign trail, leading the charge on that on the November victory sweep, the universal victory sweep, and to see him out there in the game again, a former president. He lives in DC. He's not running down to Chicago every weekend to golf or do whatever and have a Secret Service, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing that. Trump has cost taxpayers more than $200 million this year.
Hadn't been a full year.
This year. We're at the beginning of November. $200 million. And he wasn't even president for the first 3 weeks of January.
Exactly.
So let's keep that clear. It's just a very stark reminder of what we have in terms of quote unquote leadership in this country, and how at least President Obama is still a person that we can feel proud about, representing our country, being a president, in the absence of Joe Biden, who is facing cancer and everything else, and the difficulties he's facing. At least we have a living president who is worth a damn.
I mean, honestly, I miss Bush. Like, at least he was funny,
and not a horrible person. I mean, outside of the lying about yellow cake and getting us into the Iraq War.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, once all of that was done, and I don't want to say in defense of this, but he was in the chair when Al Qaeda blew up the World Trade Center. So nobody's too mad that he had his dander up. The fact that he led us into a war and put us into trillions of dollars in debt, adjudicating that undeclared war, is the bigger problem. But he has been laying in the cut since he left office.
Well,
he's
been painting. And I was going to say, he had the book where he painted portraits of wounded warriors to raise money for Wounded Warrior Project. So he's been doing a lot of that kind of work.
And that's fine. Because guess what? Nobody wants to hear what you have to say, W.
No, of course.
He don't want to say nothing. I contend that he never really wanted to be president.
Well, we know he didn't. That was that was his dad.
That was his daddy.
Yeah. And that Patriot Act does still haunt us to this day. It is called
absolutely. Listen, I'm not defending Bush. I don't want to make it seem like
we're gonna get off him. I'm just saying
the last thing I will say, because this was interesting and it was brought to my attention by another Tizzy Ent, actually, who's one of my favorite content creators. When Charlie Kirk was unalived, flags were flown at half-mast.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney is a former vice president of the United States.
Former was a chief of staff, with a whole
his lifetime. Now, whether or not it was service to the country or service to his own oligarchical agenda in the military.
He was a government official.
He was a government official for basically his entire life. And his daughter. And his daughter wasn't a great person either. But when it came to Trump and came to actually defending the country as opposed to aligning herself with her party, she made a very tough choice, and it cost her politically. And that woman's father died and was a heartbeat away from the presidency. And Trump did not have the flags lowered. Somebody should have said, I mean, you have to do this. Somebody should have said that.
Well, he fired his secretary of protocol a long time ago.
That's true. That's true. He said, I put on shotgun.
I love us because we're so serious.
Shoot him right now.
Shoot him in the neck now. I didn't say that. So anyway, that's all I have. CJ, before I leave, I just want to thank you for joining us. It is always a pleasure to have you on the show. And for those of you sitting in our audience who have thought, you know what, I'd like to be heard on the show. please let us know. Just hit us
Mm-hmm.
on the socials. You know, some of you all have my email. Hit me on the email, and we would love to have you on the show. We
If you
love the
saw
way
me
the show
looking
is
this way
growing.
earlier, I was like, CJ texted me. She's like, "Hey, can I come in?" I was like, "Yeah, girl, come on in." And
Yeah,
here she is.
it don't take a lot. We're happy to have you. Hell,
Mhm.
let's work for us.
We are
So
inclusive.
I'm just going to say goodbye. I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of these two amazing women. And I will see you next week when hopefully we will have a ripened discharge petition that is going to be voted on and then headed to the Senate. And we will keep tracking it every single week. We are going to do everything that we do just like we always be doing. And I will just say, please like, subscribe, hit the little blue like button or whatever it is on whatever thing it is that you're doing. It really does help the show, and it does mean a lot to us. And so I will just say, I'm Tom Cunningham, and I'm out. And CJ and Joy, take it away.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for your service, Tom Cunningham. We appreciate it. It is now girls' night, and so
right.
let's get into it.
Spelman women running the show,
right? So he alluded to a video that I wanted to show, and I went to get it ready again, and it's something I pulled up earlier, so I would have it up, and then I just try to play it, and it was like, this video is no longer available.
Oh, cool.
And that's how bad it was, because this dude was a whole mess. And so what I did do, and Phil Harrison, if you're still in here, Phil, this was the video you sent me earlier. So what has happened is a man, if you even want to stretch it and call it that, he started talking crazy to a couple of black kids in like a Walmart, and just like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna do nothing, you N-word. Yeah, y'all a bunch of N-words. I mean, it was hard R, and he's filming himself walking around, and they're finding like, what you say to me? Yo, I'm a bush, because naturally he has rage baited them into wanting to fight. So then he's like, you're not gonna. Then when they do step up to him, like, yo, I'm right here, he brandishes a gun.
Oh God.
And then says that he's with Clarksville, Tennessee's police department. And so what has happened since then is Clarksville PD, hey Phil, if you want to join and give us more background on this, you're welcome to. But but the video has been pulled because it was on his page, and he's getting dragged all over the internet for it. He's already been doxxed. They've already found his name, his business, and everything else. So Clarksville police, when they heard about what was going on, was like, excuse me, the Clarksville Police Department is aware of videos circulating on social media. We want to make it clear that this type of behavior is not condoned, and the individual seen in the video, he ain't with us. He is not affiliated with the Clarksville Police Department in any way. We take this matter seriously. They're looking into it, blah, blah, blah. We also recognize and support the rights afforded to all citizens of our free speech, blah, blah, blah. So basically, yeah, he's a mess. He's not with us. Free speech, blah, blah, blah. But no, we ain't do that. So what ended up happening was people found his work page, and he had a whole cute little video. And I screenshot this because I was seeing in the comments that people were making like, oh, so you shut down your page, thought we wasn't going to find you, huh? And so I took as many screenshots as I could. And here's what was happening. So it was something DLE contracting in Clarksville, Tennessee. And so you'll see, like, I'll read some of what you got here. You know, we use the N-word freely, but we're not racist. Why don't you take down your page now? This is what you wanted, right? Freedom of speech, right? Don't chimp out. That's another thing he was saying to the black guys that he was baiting. Look at you chimping out. You chimping out as if to say that they are afraid to fight him or whatever. Somebody else is like, intellectual domination, Clarksville Police Department. They calling everybody on him. They talking about how you like chasing down black people and threatening them. Okay, let's see how your business does. And they've been out there all day. And this is what consequences look like. Now, you know, he's trying to hide. He tried to say he got hacked, bro. Come on.
You didn't get hacked because you were on the video recording. You know, folks killed me with that. Folks kill me with that.
We said Hotel Chan say, I saw the video. I was wondering how long the internet would take to find them. Less than 6 hours. Less than 6 hours. Hello, Sharon. Campbell Waters, nice to see you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So I'm noticing that you're coming in from Facebook. You just missed Tom, but we started posting usually exclusively on YouTube because Facebook likes to block our stuff. And so I took a chance and put it on Facebook tonight just to see. And I'm so glad I did because we found you. So what I want you to do is go to YouTube. Click the link to go to YouTube and like and subscribe to our show so you won't miss it, because we're still doing this. We're still out here every Thursday, right? And you're right, Mike. He's probably going to try to start some crowdfunding and raise for his legal defense, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Yay. Good. Okay. So what I wanted to also talk about is the prevalence of us seeing white folks, MAGA, Trumpers, whatever, deciding that they can say and do whatever they want to Black folks. And sometimes, like what I saw in the video was a couple of Black kids following him and being like, no, that's not what we do. No, this ain't about to go this way. But I've also seen a lot of Black folks letting you know you done messed up for the last time. And this is not what it is. I'm still trying to reload this page and it's still not working. I'm going to stop trying to show it because it's distracting. But anyway, I really, really like when I see somebody African-American between the ages of like 20 and 45 not take that shit off of anybody. Right. Now, I'm not saying go out there and fight. I'm not saying so, but I don't want anybody to start any nonsense in the streets. I'm not encouraging anyone to go out and look for fights. Howsoever, when they come in your face, when they do these things, there are laws against verbal abuse, and this is clearly grounds for a hate crime. So if they got into it, this dude has started it. And it's very clear. And he was proud of himself. And it's that pride in white supremacy that is resurging that I see so often nowadays. Like, it's one thing, okay, do what you want, but you don't have a right to come and harass me for walking to the store or being outside or going to Starbucks or going to Kroger or wherever I'm going. You don't have a right to do that. And if you decide that you want to rage bait me or any other Black person, we are within our right to defend ourselves from harm. And your verbal statements are recognized by the federal government to this day as harm. So you thinking that you can say whatever you want and walk away. I've seen so many people. I get into this on like YouTube or Threads or something where I find a video of somebody putting a smackdown on some loudmouth person that deserves it. And I just start scrolling because they come one after the other. It's like, yes, good for you. Good for you. Like, share, like, yeah, do it. Because I'm sick of it.
I'm enjoying seeing them too. Because some people, what was it, when you're younger and your parents used to tell you don't touch the stove, you didn't learn until you touched the stove that it was hot.
Right.
And that's what they need. That's what they need, is to learn, oh, it's hot over here. I saw a video maybe yesterday or today. Well, it had been today because where this guy was following a group of Black people. It looked like they were just walking or participating in something. And he was trying to bait them and everything. And he finally came up on one guy, took a swing at him. The Black guy knocked him cold out.
Smooth out. You're going to learn today.
Enjoyed it. I had to watch it again because I wanted to see him take him. That's what they need. That's what they deserve.
It's the only thing they understand.
You're right. Someone was saying, oh, racism was back. And I'm like, it's not back. It's been here. It's just the racists are more comfortable now because you have racists leading the country. As long as you have Trump and Stephen Miller with oh my God, the devil incarnate, you're going to have people who feel more comfortable now because what they're seeing is, oh yeah, these folks are doing this and they're not facing any consequences. But the difference is, Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and all of them not facing consequences are not the same as you, Billy Bob, sitting up here, with no education, no money, running down the street trying to bait me. I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to work. It's not. I had a situation.
Not the way you wanted to.
They chipping out.
Wait, how do I mute this?
He chipping out.
Hang on.
He said,
"Oh, I want to see it. Go ahead and play it."
Okay. I found Phil was nice enough to record it on his phone and send it to me. So I got it up. I'm going to try and share it. Thank you, Phil. Okay. And thank you, CJ, for giving me a nice little filibuster there for a second. Okay. All right, share screen. I'm keeping it on mute because it is that offensive. Oh. All right. Where is the video? I think this is it. There it is. And it's kind of narrated, so you should be able to see coming through. You should be able to see, yes, you see how bad this is, right? Just from reading. So let me get this started. Play. Why? There we go. He keeps saying they're chimping out. Yeah, walk up. Yes, then that's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's what they thought. That's what they thought with this handlebar mushroom mustache. All because they had their music up loud. He does have a punchable face. Phil, I'm not going to play the voice because I'm not going to have that word that many times on our broadcast. You can see how often he says it. And so, okay, if that's what you want to do with your life, all right. And so he's already been found. His little carpentry business is the subtitles play too fast. So he, like I said, Phil, you already know what it sounds like. And I'm not going to suggest, this is my show. I'm not putting everybody else through this. It's a whole lot of N-word, a whole lot of him. You can see him walking around trying to bait these guys into fighting. And then when they did step to him, like they were ready to fight, he pulled out a gun. Because this is what I've always feared about make my day clauses and stand your ground clauses, is because they allow you to start some nonsense and then escalate it and say you fear for your life.
Right.
If those kids had rushed him and he shot them, dead men tell no tales, he would have had that video to show all his little friends about how he baited them and killed them, right? And then he posted this so people could be like, I guess he thought only his friends would see it. But what I do like about that whole demographic is they turn on each other all the time. He probably sent it to some of his people. Or even, I think he even posted it on his channel and didn't realize that his Facebook page is not private, right? Didn't realize that other people could see it. And now after, all of that nonsense, now you got this. Oh, we came for you, bro. And it's not just Black people too. Like everybody is like, no, we see you. We see you. Don't chimp out now and try to keep it going. Go into the hood in Dallas, Texas and pull. Yeah, try this with somebody else. He did it at a Kroger in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I love that even the cops were like, nah, we don't have nothing to do with you.
Well,
they are the actual bucket crabs, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if that clip, not the clip, the statement from Clarksville, maybe I misread it really quickly, but did they say that they were investigating this too? Because he can't impersonate an officer, so
right.
dude.
Because he did say he was with the cops. He did say that he thought he would be covered by Clarksville Police Department, right? To try to scare them even more into staying away, so he continued to taunt them. I'm off duty, blah, blah, blah. No, they will be seeking legal advice to determine what type of action can be taken, if any.
Right.
Yeah. And so I hope he gets everything he deserves.
I hope he has the day he voted for. So,
speaking of having a day they voted for, again, we got a few more MAGA crash outs that I don't think he got to, because he was going back and forth. I believe he only got to the first one, which was this one. But other people being upset. I'm one of the largest pro-Trump commentators in the nation. I get tens of millions of views every single month talking about Trump's America First agenda. And right now, I'm absolutely effing beyond pissed off that tonight, as a justification for H-1B visas, Trump said that Americans don't have talent. Well, that's the opposite of the show. America's got talent. America don't got talent is what he was saying. And he has been speaking the quiet parts out loud. That's what y'all said y'all liked about him. That's what y'all thought was so great about him in his first term. He says the quiet part out loud. He says what everybody's thinking. Apparently everybody's thinking that Americans are stupid.
Right. And obviously y'all are, because y'all voted for him.
Right. You not only did you vote for him, but you were so upset about a Black man being able to tell you what to do as commander in chief, as president of the country. You were so mad that he had the possibility of telling you what to do that you didn't recognize when he was trying to help your stupid ass. When he was trying to they had retraining programs. All you had to do was go and learn new skills so you could work in wind power or electric vehicle stuff or green energy. You had all these other things. And they're like, no, we want our coal jobs back. You want to go die in a coal mine. You want this hot, ridiculous job because it's what you know. It's what your daddy did. Okay, my dad drove a 2 mile to the gallon gas guzzling car. Why would I want to do that? There's better things out there. But they were so mad it was coming from a Black man. Universal health care. So mad that it was coming from a Black man that they was like, you can't tell me what to do. And that's what I used to hear more often.
And now they have no health care. And yes, was it Phil? You're so right. A Georgia Hyundai factory, anyone? Because yes. They lost, was it 8,000? It doesn't matter. It was more jobs than they had in that little bitty town.
Exactly. It was going to be millions of dollars in infrastructure into that.
And then put other people in jeopardy because I lived in Montgomery for years. And I know a lot of people who worked for and are recipients or beneficiaries of the Hyundai plant that's in Montgomery. And I'm like, good God, please don't damage them either. That Hyundai plant just celebrated its 20th anniversary being in Montgomery. I was telling a family friend, immediately when that happened in Georgia, I text a family friend and I'm like, hey, is your son okay? Because he's been at Hyundai for, I want to say 15 of those 20 years. And I don't want him to get screwed over because some stupid heifer said, oh, Sharon, I didn't realize that. Hey, but yeah, some stupid heifer sat up there and said, I called on them because they were being mistreated. No, they weren't being mistreated. If anybody knew anything, you know that the Koreans took care of their folks there.
Right. South Koreans like, we'll send our own plane. Thank you very much. No, we don't trust nothing y'all have to do.
And told those folks, hey, don't worry. When they put them back on the plane, they said, don't worry. Yes, we're not here, but your checks will be covered. Yes, you're not working. Your checks will be covered. Your family will be okay. We're going to take care of you just because they mistreated you. They mistreat their own people. Don't worry about it. We have you. You come back and acclimate and find something that works for you.
Well, that's the thing is they had jobs in Korea. They were here to help us. With our ranked 50th out of 100 countries type selves and whatnot, they were here to help us. And we just can't get out of our own way as a nation. You know, it ain't me and you. It ain't nobody that's listening to us. But just the fact that they're so busy trying to make this a whites only nation that they don't understand that whites only would be only whites. And they don't have nothing. Right. Trump just told y'all stupid. The most educated section of Black America is look at you in the face right now. Of America, not just Black America. Black women, we out here being super smart, starting businesses, doing our own thing, and also still not coming to work for the man if we can help it. But when we can, y'all don't want us there, right? Even though we invent most of the stuff that y'all love, the GPS, anybody, right? So if by some stretch of the imagination we all just did up and leave, what y'all gonna do? You're gonna be screwed. Unseasoned chicken and mayonnaise for the rest of your generations. Gross.
Be screwed. It's I mean, yeah. you can only be mad for so long. And I mean, exactly. I'm tired of getting mad. I'm tired. It's disrespectful.
And they will try to steal stuff. We're headed for if something happened and they were like, we want to resegregate, because they tried to have their little whites only towns recently. That didn't go anywhere because guess what? You don't know how to run a town. But we would figure it out. It may not be perfect, but if they were like, okay, Black people, you all have to go live in the Rockies and the mountains, whatever. That the mountains would be lit.
We would become the most Rocky Mountain climbingest. Man, we be having
ports and fly straight into the Rockies.
Homecoming at the peak. Come on now.
Right. It would be so fly. Wait, what does it say? Worm Tongue Miller. wants a nation at 100 million citizens, all Caucasian. That's never
Oh,
going to
we
happen.
know that because you heard about the woman, the native woman who was arrested, and when she got arrested for driving without a license. They held her. Her mother came to pick her up from jail, and they told her mother she has to be held for immigration services for deportation. The mother said, why? She's Native American. I want to say, bitch, she's more American than you.
Exactly. She can trace
And
her origins back to 1300s. What about you? But that's the thing is like, go ahead.
No, I was saying it took hours before she was released. That shouldn't have taken. First off, she shouldn't have been. On what grounds are you deporting her? Because she looks brown? Oh yeah, we're getting rid of everything brown.
That's exactly what it is. So it was never about immigration. It was about color. It always has been. Ever since we stopped working for free, they don't want us here or anybody else that they see as inferior, not by fact, but by fiction. Because how is it that you can't be out in the sun, you can't handle spicy food, you don't even like paprika, you can't dance, you have no innate rhythm, which every other native culture has a tie to the soul of the earth through things like drums and rhythm. So the fact that they lack now, and you know what? Shout out to the Irish because they got their little river dance, they got their own rhythm, they got their own drum thing going. And so I'm not even saying them, I'm talking about the rest. You don't want to bathe.
Oh, well, we're not talking about Irish because they mistreated the Irish when they came to the U.S. too. So okay, I'm sorry, they don't want to bathe. You're right, because remember I wash my hair and the soap just drips down my body, and that's all I do every day is wash my hair. You nasty ass.
But Mike said it's not even about European descent. It has to be Northern European or Germanic because that's Spanish isn't an indigenous American language. You are absolutely right.
That's it.
You are absolutely right. Yeah, and it's specifically the Saxons. I could be wrong about that. Because the Vikings also used to comb their hair and bathe. Matter of fact, the reason they didn't like the Vikings is not because they were coming in and raping and pillaging, but because women was like, ooh, he smells like a human. And he looks like groomed. I think I want him. And so another misremembering of history that they were all, they would come down and trade and might, get with your girl and be out or whatever. But yeah, they were fine. Literally, they was fine. Anyway, back to my point. They have never been able to accept that other nationalities, other nations, other ethnicities, other melanated groups are just as good as they are. And in very very often the case is that they're better. And their desire to hold on to superiority because they lack anything else. They have nothing else but this idea of superiority. That's why they can't let it go. And if they do segregate towns again, and then their towns are floundering with their, Kid Rock and ugly raisin potato salad, they'll either try to sneak over in our stuff and steal it and say it's their own, or they'll just try to bomb it all again. That's the only thing that I think desegregation did for communities of color once it was really desegregated in the 80s was you can't just bomb us out of existence because we live with y'all now.
Right.
You bomb me, you bombing Karen too. So what you gonna do?
That's so true. I'm reading the comments.
The colonization of Americas was driven by pissed off Euros tired of being told to bathe by their Muslim rulers. That is actually partially true.
True. I know that, but it was but you can't help but laugh about it, but it is.
It's not the whole story. I'm telling you, if you haven't read Black AF history, you're doing yourself a disservice. Michael Harriot, I feel like I have an intellectual crush on him because I adore the way he thinks. And I've read that book twice already.
I have not. I had to look, don't judge me. I had to read it. Don't judge me.
You gotta read. First off, it's a quick read because and this is my way of putting it, is it's like if your uncle read the 1619 Project and then try to tell you about it while he was drinking at Thanksgiving.
So like oh my God, like what's the Drunk History?
Drunk History. It reads a lot like Drunk History, except it's annotated. Everything he says, there's a footnote for everything he says. Your boy is smart. But one of the things he talks about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, yeah, he is. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
One of the things he talks about is the fact that the whole impetus for what became the transatlantic slave trade was Spain and Portugal trying to come out from under Moorish rule. And they appealed to the Vatican and the Pope. So there you go, Catholics, y'all in on this too. And the Pope was like, yeah, I'll back your play to get rid of the Moors and to reclaim your homeland, which I ain't got no problem with trying to do that. But he was like, I'll do it if you increase your tithes to the Holy Roman Empire. And they were like, well, we ain't got no money. So they tried to figure out where they could get money from. And they heard about Mansa Musa and all the gold down in Africa. They couldn't figure out how to get down there because their boats kept getting crashed amongst the waves because of all the different winds that go around the Cape, around that top northern Africa. And they kidnapped some poor Black guy on the beach who was like, well, if you use triangular sails instead of them stupid square scales, you could get through these trade winds. And hence the phrase trade winds comes from this, because that's how they traded. He helped them figure out how to get down there. Then they started stealing people. Long story short, all of this came from them, like you said, not wanting to be under Muslim rule, because Muslims like, you need to bathe, you need to pray, you need to, be an upstanding citizen, you need to take care of things. Like, we don't want to do that. Wash my legs. No, slavery. So that's how that went.
Let me tell you something I learned last week, and it was the craziest thing. And there was an audible gasp in the room, and it was a mixed crowd, but it was interesting. So I, for folks who know, I work in community health. And one of the things that community health centers, federally qualified health centers, have to do is submit what's called a UDS report every year. And it's different statistics based on the patients they serve, things like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is broken down by different categories. We used to do SOGI, or sexual orientation, gender identity. Of course, we can't do that now, but we still are doing a lot of racial breakdown. And so one of the issues that had come up in previous years, depending on, where your health center is located, was how you're collecting data on people from the Middle East or Northern Africa in determining their race and gender, because that's not, race and ethnicity, because of course we have all the different Asian racial categories. We have Black and African American. We have all these different Hispanic categories, but you don't have anything for there. And we were told that the government, and I got to remember the correct, and I apologize for not knowing the correct term, but basically it's a governmental designation for Northern Africans and Middle Easterners. If they say, how do we identify? We're supposed to tell them to identify as whites.
Yes.
I had to catch myself. I was like, And it was interesting to me because there was a conversation. We were talking about this with a young lady from Ohio. I can't remember what part. She's of Hispanic origin. And she was talking about studies on, health-related studies, and how a lot of them are skewed because you have a lot of Hispanic persons who will select white, so they get bumped. Even if they select Hispanic, but they select white, they get dropped in the category with other white people, and of course it really shouldn't. So their data is skewed, and they're not receiving the services or things like that as they should. And it's just always so interesting to me that, man, we always want to run to, or people always want to run to white as the default. But I'm like, it really shouldn't be the default.
It shouldn't. So it shouldn't be the default. So I've told the story a few times already, but I'm pre-diabetic, like most of us are. And I started, there you go, Mina, Middle Eastern and North African. When I in order to get my medicine or whatever I need, metformin or whatever I needed, I had to take this pre-diabetes class. And it was a nice little white lady, and she was leading the class and talking about you should change your diet and blah, 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 blah. And basically saying that like the American diet is trash because it encourages you to gain dependencies on things like maltodextrin and high fructose corn syrup mix. But then she started listing out all the different demographics that have a higher rate of possibility of developing full-blown diabetes. She's like, Black women, Black men, all women of color, all men of color, white women. And she stopped. And I was like, wait. And because I knew it was like 200 people on the call. And so any questions like, so based on what you said, the only people that don't have a genetic marker for diabetes is white men. And you think it has nothing to do with the diet and the stress of all people of color in the United States? Because stress, as we now know, puts you in fight or flight. And if you're a constant level of stress all the time, like Black women tend to be more than any of the other demographics, the stress, the elevated stress indicator is directly proportional to everything she just said. Black women at the top of the list. And it puts a higher level of sugar in your blood in case you need it for fight or flight reasons. But if you maintain a high level of sugar in your blood for too long, you develop insulin resistance. So stress is causing Black women to be at the top of the list for diabetes. And has nothing to do with whether or not you had a cookie 3 weeks ago.
There you go.
Right? And so I need everybody to understand that and stop letting these people stress you out. Start cussing them out. Cuss for health. That's what we're going to start tonight. Cussing for health. If you feel like you need to cuss them out, save yourself and cuss them out. That's going to be, if I ever take a clip from this show, that's going to be it. Save yourself and cuss them out. You'll live longer.
I like that.
But Nina is considered white because the SCOTUS didn't want to say that Jesus Christ was non-white. I need to look up George Shishin. Okay.
I'm putting that in over here in my Google thing.
In my notes.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back, this explains why I feel so healthy. Yes, Mike, you don't have the same level of stress. But the other thing, going back to the North Africans, even the comedians out of North Africa right now love to play with that whole "am I Black, am I not" thing, because they will talk about Egypt and blah blah blah. And they go, "So you're Black? Well, hey, let's chill on that for just a second." And it's funny, but it's not. But I get it, whatever. They're comedians. But if you look at the whole continent of Africa, Egypt is over there by themselves, and there's a whole Sahara that takes months to walk by leg, right, between them and the rest of inhabited Africa, so to speak. I'm making broad generalizations here. So yeah, they felt like they was different, and they looked different, and there were a whole lot of people that dominated that area from time to time, and so it evolved to where they don't look like the original Egyptians from the time of pharaohs and Jesus, et cetera, or Moses and BC. Blah, blah, blah. They've fared out over time through the intermixing because Morocco is closer to Spain than it is to Ghana, right?
Right.
And yeah, they tend to not mess with us. Matter of fact, another thing in the book, Black AF History, is there was one North African that he just was going around Europe, specifically Spain and a few other places, talking about how, all them Southern Africans, they just dark and stink and they nasty and they don't know how to do nothing. They all just for manual labor. And he was getting fed all over Europe talking about this. And it led to this belief that the dark continent was full of ignorant people who were just ripe for exploitation. So you got us getting sold out by North African and the Portuguese and everything, trying to get out from under Moorish rule, and all of this perfect, and Mansa Musa making a pilgrimage to Mecca and dropping gold all along the way, and then picking it back up because he was ruining economies with the amount of gold he put out. Now there's money down there, and there's maybe some dumb labor down there. Let's go check that out. And here we are in the United States 400 years later. So what does it say? I mean, if we're talking about geography, can we be honest that India is more of a continent than Europe? Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, it really amazes me the way a lot of American people who don't study geography or anything I remember having this conversation with a coworker of mine. So mind you, everybody at my old job had a college degree. And we were talking about COVID because it had just happened and everything. And he said, I was telling him how China was doing a better job of isolating people, et cetera, et cetera. He goes, well, they don't have as many folks as we do in the States.
What? I'm sorry. I mean, okay.
And I had to look at him. I was like, bro, what percentage of the population of the world do you think the United States is? He's like, I don't know, 20? No.
I mean, come on, history, we've learned that. Okay.
5. We are 5%. We are 5% of the world's population, 75% of the world's drug takers. And I'm just talking pharmaceuticals, which is why we do what we do. This whole show is off the rails. I don't remember how I started over here. This is what happened when you let the ADHD person.
That's all right. And look, and I'm not helping.
Run
Look,
the board. Mm-hmm.
Willful, damn, foul ignorance combined with arrogance. I love it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so we'll wrap up the show because I feel, let me make sure I haven't missed anything that he wanted to talk about. No, we got all the good stuff. But I will say that, as we end the show, I want y'all to remember we ain't got to live like this.
Nope.
Every time, now I'm all for the stove is hot. Let people understand the consequences of their actions. And so all of this Trump rage that people are feeling right now, that's the consequences of their own actions. And they're mad because the con is starting to come to light. When you realize you open the door and all your furniture is gone because you let somebody stay at your house. Yeah, 54% of Americans read at or below a 6th grade level. And that's down. That's down from before. Not the 54%, the grade. It used to be 8th grade level.
8th grade level. That's what I was just getting ready to say.
We getting stupider. Right? And an ignorant populace is easy to control.
That's because of No Child Left Behind.
Left everybody behind. And we stopped teaching people how to think. And AI is going to make it worse.
Oh
but
my
I'm not,
God.
I'm not even going to get into that tonight. But yeah, it has been scientifically studied and proven that relying on AI stunts your creativity, your cognitive development, and your imagination. And so then people just believe whatever they see, and these deep fakes ain't making it better. So if you believe everything, you believe nothing, and either one means you're easily controlled. So, but we ain't got to live like this. So encourage, the only thing that we can do as individuals is protest and vote. Protests are short-term fixes. Voting is long-term.
Long-term.
And so continue to make, because they want us dumb and uninformed, so we will do what we're told. And what kills me is the very same poor white supremacists that are out there that think that they're sticking it to us by voting for this. Black people only make up 11%. We're down 11% of this country. It is still majority white for now. And so who do you really think they're going to have in all of these company towns? Matter of fact, they used to do that a long time ago, is have a company town. Everybody worked at the steel mill. Everybody
Elon was trying to build one. He was trying to have a company town.
And so is Microsoft. Mm-hmm. At least I thought they were. I could be wrong. No one of them.
I didn't know about Microsoft, but I knew about Elon.
Yeah, because you build a company town and then you build a big sky rise and put a gym in it and a couple of restaurants, and it's an eat, work, play. That whole model is built around we own you. And once we own you with a 50-year mortgage, you're outlived by your mortgage payment. So you die and you don't own anything. It gets repossessed and sold again to the next sucker, right? But the internet is free, all right? Yeah, the dumbing of America was intentional because this is the labor pool. They're not important to anybody else because they keep except other white people. But eventually, especially if y'all come and kill all the black folks, and the Hispanics are just, they're not coming back. They're not coming forward anymore, or they're leaving. When this becomes a whites only country, all you non-billionaires, which is all of y'all about to be slaves. Good luck with that.
So quick question, and I know we're getting ready to go. Well, we hadn't heard anything else about those wonderful South Africans that were brought over and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing? Did they get their homes? Did they get their land?
Who knows?
Did they
Probably.
I know they didn't. I'm just being funny.
They probably got 40 acres and a mule, girl.
So look,
40 acres in a Range Rover.
no, most of them were living in apartments talking about they were living better in South Africa. Really? Ooh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
like that.
mean,
Yes.
this is a shithole country.
I was looking at the 50-year mortgage is just the lease with extra letters. That's so true.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Because if you think about the fact that you probably couldn't even afford the mortgage, and you don't have the down payment until you're 30. You're not going to pay it off until you're 80, right? And most people won't live to be 80 because the newer generations are not living as long as boomers and Gen X did or are. So yeah, you just rent. You might as well rent. What's the point? They robbed the white families they live with. They sure did. I remember that one guy. We showed that video a few months back. He took in a family of white South Africans, and they ate up all his food, ran up all his bills, sat around not working, conned him out of some money, and then took off and then laughed at him when they did it and told everybody how stupid he was. But then they want to be mad because some single mom in Peoria wanted to buy Oreos for her kid and they don't want her to have food. Right. So, okay. They've disappeared into the electorate. Yep. And you're right. Yeah. Waiting to continue to vote for more of them. And yeah, Elon did want to turn America into another South Africa apartheid type, but we're not going for that. And if we can get just a few more, if every white person that has a stupid racist friend, not a smart, rich racist friend, because they can't be changed, but the stupid racist friends, if you can flip one of them out of the 5 that you have, that's a 20% reduction in who might vote Republican in the next presidential election. And if we can flip 1 out of 5, we can win that election, hands down. So we almost had it this time. Actually, we did have it, but that's a whole nother story.
Right.
Yeah. But is there anything that you want to talk about?
Well, I'm going to be selfish right now and take this. I don't know if you saw my post, but I successfully defended my dissertation this morning. So that's it. I'm hyping my own self up right now.
So you Dr. CJ now.
I am Dr. CJ now.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Doc.
So, yep, that's it. That's why I'm chilling. That's why I can actually have free time to do things and breathe.
Right. So you're like, there you just sit and chill, like, I'm gonna jump on this show with my doctorate.
That's
so it's doctorate of what?
Healthcare administration.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I've been doing it for almost 30 years. I'm like, hell, I might as well put some credentials behind this bad boy.
Right, because you got the practical side already.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yes. And we love you for it. So congratulations for real. That is freaking awesome.
I get to wear my robe with the velvet sleeves in January. So yeah, nice. The velvet stripes in January.
You got to send us pictures. We'll cheer you on from the Sharpie pit, you know.
So yeah.
This is Anthony giving you flowers. I love it.
Anthony had already posted on my Facebook post. I was like, you know what, that Anthony right there, I swear for God.
Right. Anthony. Such a sweetheart.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of good news. That is a high note to end on. And so, yes, that's right. You call us on
business cards. I do need to do that, don't I?
Yes, it needs to start with doctor. Yes. I'm all for it. And I celebrate you, man. That's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
And so on that note, we are going to end the show. We're pushing 2 hours at this point because y'all let me just run off mouth.
But but it was good, Joy. I mean, it was good. You know, I actually love it when you get like that. I'm like, okay, what's she gonna say?
Because you never know. Because there's so much stuff in here that sometimes it'll be like, what's this one? Did you know this?
So thank God when you cut it, you didn't lose. You didn't lose something.
Right. So we will see y'all next Thursday. Please come back, tell a friend, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Share the videos if you like. We try, like me and Tom are both like just super busy during the days, but we are trying to start creating shorts on YouTube so that you can send like a 1-minute clip or a 30-second clip. We're working on that. So y'all give us a little grace. But thank you all for coming out for the show.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend, absolutely. Oh, wait, watch.
Wait a minute,
Watch what? What did I miss?
I know. I want to go back. Scroll back up. Let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, I guess I could scroll my own thing here.
50-year mortgage. I'm going back. It had to be something that he said. Say it again, because we can't find it in the comments. Hold on. No. So it was it's a movie. It came out in the 60s. You're surprised how on the nose it is. I think it was a name. Was it the name that he mentioned earlier that we wrote down? Chan, how you going
about George? I mean, because I'm looking at that.
Yeah, George Shisham. I do know there was one video, and it was talking about fascism coming to America, and it is like a black and white 60s movie, and it gave an example of how easy it was for someone to agree with a couple of things but not pay attention to the whole and not realize they're falling into fascism if they don't pay attention. And I do remember that being on the nose, because they were like, well, shouldn't this be a good thing if we don't have this? But if you extrapolate it out, you realize it's really terrible. I do remember a video like that, but it might be blocking your comment. So we will figure out what it is that we need to watch.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I'm trying to see too. Okay.
But y'all, it was really good seeing y'all. Thanks again. Tell a friend. We continue to try to grow our audience. And if we get big enough and we have enough to start monetizing, we're gonna start trying to do a little merch, a little Sharpie stuff, whatnot. Of course, all of y'all are grandfathered in. So just
like all you gotta do is put the auto Sharpie pen on the. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm working on very little sleep. That's why I'm doing stupid stuff like this.
That was funny.
But you know what the Sharpie is, though? The orange one's favorite pen. That's right. Because it's thick. It's like those big, thick pencils we used to have in school.
Because he likes crayon. Yeah. And he probably keeps smelling it, but it don't smell like nothing. Anyway, we're going to stop.
Smell it over the food. It's time to go.
Yeah, it's time to go. Y'all, thank y'all for being here tonight. Catch y'all next Thursday. I am Joy Stevens.
And I am Dr. CJ.
And this has been Steel Sharpens Steel.